Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Elaine. Welcome. So today I am going to do a review for you of Peachbands, the brand Peachbands resistance bands, including their band set, their hip band set, as well as their hip band, which is just their larger fabric resistance band. If you're just here for the code is my first name, Elaine. It gives you 10% off. It is a commission code, so it helps support me and my channel. If you use it, please let me know so that I can thank you and send you so much gratitude for helping to support me and this channel. You can always DM me on my Instagram, which I will also put on this screen. Now, the first item we're going to end up reviewing is the band set, and I'll show you the full thing, but this is essentially just a rubber resistance band or mini resistance band, whatever you want to call it. And then there is their hip band, which is more popular nowadays, just because of their durability. And then there is their hip band set, and this is actually the first company that I've seen that makes essentially the fabric version of the rubber resistance band, like literally with the same diameter and everything. So I found that really cool, and I will give you my recommendations on how to use them. I'll show you some exercises you can use them with, and just kind of give you some insight into why you want one of these or all of these, or whether you should even bother getting all of these. I know it can get confusing, especially if you're a beginner, but I will give you my recommendations for what I think is great for a beginner, just someone who's getting used to it. And people are still doing home workouts right now, so getting your own equipment is a big investment. If you've seen my Instagram workouts, especially when I was still in lockdown, right now we're out of lockdown, but when I was still in lockdown, fabric resistance bands were a key part of my home workouts. And I do have a mini resistance band follow along workout on my page, so feel free to go and do that after you buy one of these and use my code. All right, without further ado, let's get on to the review. And yeah, okay, before we get started, I'm gonna say pardon the lighting situation. It was really nice outside, and then it got really dark, and we're working with what we got. So let's get started with the band set. This is, I like to call them rubber resistance bands. They can be called mini bands, whatever you guys want. But this is the band set on Peachband's site. It comes with 3 different sizes, resistances. Sounds weird. So there's the light, which is 10 pounds of resistance. There's the medium, which is 15 pounds of resistance. There is the heavy, which is 25 pounds of resistance, I believe. And then there is the extra heavy, which is 35 pounds of resistance. Now, when it comes to these resistance bands specifically, you can tell the quality is up there. And I will show you guys the resistance band set, which I have right here, that I bought when I first started my fitness journey. And although they are great, and obviously they've held up well considering how long I've had them for, I think these are about 3 years old now, you can tell how thin and flimsy the light one is compared to this one's from Zone Training, I believe, the light one. Yeah, this is from Zone Training. You can tell how thin and flimsy this one is compared to the one from Peachbands. Like, this light resistance band, I'm actually so afraid of snapping this. This is still intact because I've been so afraid of snapping it that I rarely use it. Like, I might use this maybe once a month, once every 2 months, because I'm afraid of snapping it. It is quite see-through. But anyway, so this one there's no resistance to it. Honestly, if you're starting out on your fitness journey, something like this, although it will be great for warming up and just kind of, learning the movements, this is almost a waste because there's literally no resistance to it. I'm really afraid of snapping that, so I'm gonna stop. Whereas with the light resistance band from Peachband, you can tell it's thicker, it has more structure to it in general. And it's not freaking, I don't know if it's showing up well on camera, but it is pretty freaking see-through. Like, I can see you guys through this. Anyway, so this one has a bit more structure, and I found that with all of Peachband's resistance band, they're just nice and thick. Like, real freaking thick. So the quality is there. I'm not worried about these ones snapping within the first couple months of me getting them because they have structure to them. If I was to compare Peachbands to the resistance bands I got, and when I got these, I believe they're around $15-ish. These I believe are around 25-ish dollars, but keep in mind that you do get this really cute carrying case with it, which is perfect for just taking anywhere. You can use this for other purposes. But yeah, keep that in mind that these, like even the light, we're starting at about 10 pounds of resistance, and that is comparable to, yeah, that's comparable to the extra heavy for the zone resistance bands that I got. So if you're a beginner, and newbie gains are a thing, newbie gains are when you start working out, you do quickly gain muscle and you undergo body recomposition, you will outgrow this, like this cheaper set, much quicker than you will outgrow the Peachband set, because the Peachband set is honestly meant to last you the majority of your fitness journey. I consider myself more advanced now. Like if we're just talking about glute training in general, I hip thrust about 315-ish pounds, around there. And I still use the extra heavy resistance band, and this is gonna keep me for a bit. So in terms of that, get the fact, just invest in yourself, invest in your journey, and get rubber resistance bands that are of quality. Now, I generally recommend the rubber resistance bands for beginners. The main reason I do that is because they are way more versatile than the fabric resistance bands. And that is just because they're able to stretch more. With the fabric resistance bands, you do end up getting limited with just the fabric. You can only stretch it so far. So with the fabric resistance bands, I only do lower body movements with them. But with the rubber resistance bands or the band set, I can do upper body movements with them. I can do ab exercises with them. And because of the variety of resistances that these bands come in, it's very easy, very easy to find a band that works for your current level that you can work with. So if you're a beginner, or if you're buying a gift for someone and they're a beginner, highly recommend getting the rubber resistance bands. And even if you're an intermediate and you don't have your own resistance band set yet, I highly recommend investing in one, especially now that we're trying to reduce contact with other people. It's $20 that will last you quite a few years. Like, this is actually kind of insane. Okay, so next is the hip band set. So this comes with 3 of the fabric resistance bands, which are essentially the fabric version of the rubber resistance bands we talked about previously. And it comes with a light, a medium, and a heavy band. The heavy bands are usually the darker bands. The light band is 10 pounds of resistance, the medium band is 25 pounds of resistance, and the heavy band is 30 pounds of resistance. Now, if you heard that, yes, the heavy band is only 30 pounds of resistance, meaning that if you are someone who wants a little bit of high resistance, especially if you're like an intermediate, the band set does have a wider range of resistances. That sounds weird, but I'm going with it. Has a wider range of resistances, but that does not mean that this is not also a great investment. It just means if you want a wider range and more versatility, go with the rubber bands. So the hip band set, once again, very cute carrying case. I've had no issues with this case so far. I've been using it over the past month and a half-ish, and I really like the fact that these are pretty much the fabric versions of the rubber resistance bands, just because I like the diameter of these. I find them more, they just have a bit more versatility than the hip band, which we will talk about later. But so you can see the Peachbands logo is right on the front. This is the light resistance band, and as much as I love these, you're limited in the range of motion of exercises you can do. So I don't use this hip band set or the hip band for any upper body movements. This is strictly lower body, warming up, doing some glute activation. Glute activation is when you isolate the glutes so that you can feel them before you start doing compound exercises like hip thrust, deadlift, sumo deadlifts, stuff like that. But I really do love these. I use them every single workout, if not every other leg day, just because they're just so cute, and it gives you a wider range of lower body exercises to do than only having one hip band. Now, with the heavy resistance is good, but if you are someone who's advanced, I know, because in terms of, I mean, I hip thrust 300, oh my goodness, what was it, like 315 pounds or something. When you're doing banded hip abductions, as someone who's at my level, this is still a bit too light for me, and that's when I would recommend getting the 13-inch hip band that has 13 or the 15-inch hip band. The 15-inch hip band has 40 pounds of resistance, and the 13-inch has 50 pounds of resistance. But this is great. This set is great in general if you're a beginner or intermediate, because it gives you a range of resistances. Still doesn't sound right, to work with. So I do highly recommend this if you're a beginner or an intermediate, and if you're advanced, go for the hip band, which I will be talking about next. And I will overlay some exercises you can do with the hip band set. Of course, anything that you can do with the band set, you can do with the hip band set, with the exception of the upper body exercises. So you'll notice all of the movements that I'm doing in this segment are all lower body exercises, but still a great burn, especially if you are at home. And if you are advanced and you do already have the hip band set, just go high reps. Make sure your glutes are on fire, and you will still get the same advantage as having the heavier 40-pound and 50-pound hip band. And last but not least, we have the hip band. This is specifically the 15-inch hip band, which is the 40 pounds of resistance. And then there is the 13-inch hip band, the advanced hip band, which is 50 pounds of resistance. Now, for me, this hip band is still a bit too light for me personally. However, if you are like an intermediate, this actually says intermediate next to it on the website. This is perfect for you. And by intermediate, I mean like you're no longer a newbie. So maybe you've been, consistently, weightlifting for the past like 1 or 2 years. You can't really judge by time because everyone's levels of going to the gym are different. But if you're an intermediate, you're an intermediate kind of thing, I'd say if you're like hip thrusting 200 pounds, consider yourself an intermediate. Girl, you got this. Or guy. Oh, if there are any guys watching this who are trying to purchase any of these items for their girlfriend or anything like that, and you're still not sure after this review what to get them, although you should know after this review, there's gift cards on Peachbands site, so you can always just buy them a gift card, and just be like, here you go, babe, I'm supporting your fitness journey, go for it. Also, I've lent my hip bands out to guys at the gym. There's no freaking issue with a guy having a pink resistance bands. I actually find it really cute, and I usually compliment them on it because there's a couple guys at my gym who have the resistance bands, and I love it. So that was totally a random tangent. But yes, the 15-inch one is great if you're an intermediate. And if you're a beginner and you're trying to progressively overload at home, progressively overload is just adding more resistance, and you can only do like 2 or 3 with these and your glutes are burning, that is still freaking great. You will eventually graduate up to this anyway. So either get the band set or the hip band set, and then get a hip band for yourself, just to kind of push you and be like, okay, my goal is to get to like 15 reps using the hip band. You'll get there. That's what progressive overload is. You go harder than last time, you do more reps, and you just try and increase the weight or the resistance of whatever exercise you're doing. Now, I will overlay some exercises that I do. Most of the time, I only use this for abductions, lateral walks, and donkey kicks. But if you're like super advanced, better than me anyway, you can probably use this hip band for any lower body exercise. I'm just not fully there yet. Like donkey kicks with this still do get me. Hip abductions with this don't really get me, because on the hip abduction machine, I like, my gym currently doesn't have one, but I could easily do almost 200 pounds on the hip abduction machine. So I'm usually sitting there doing about 3 sets, 70 reps of hip abductions with this band, just to get the same burn that I would if I was doing 200 pounds on the actual hip abduction machine. So just a recap. If you are brand new and you're just looking for equipment, especially if you're still stuck at home, I highly recommend the band set or the rubber resistance bands, just because of the versatility. There is 4 different types of resistances. It allows you for a greater range of motion, especially when you go to the light, so that you can still do upper body workouts and upper body warm-ups. I love using rubber resistance bands for warming up my upper body, especially before back day. So this is a great investment regardless of what level you're at, because the resistance does go up to 35 pounds, which is still great for someone who's an intermediate or even someone who is advanced. I recommend the hip band set if you are intermediate or if you're a beginner, because there's still a range of resistances in there from 10 to 30 pounds. But this is a great investment because they are quite durable. I've had fabric resistance bands for, not this set specifically, but I've had fabric resistance bands for 3 years and they're still going strong. And the upside of fabric resistance bands, including the hip band, is that you can chuck them in the wash if they do get dirty and you're good to go. If you're going to the gym right now, I highly recommend getting your own. I have a microbiology degree, hey. In case you guys didn't know, that's my bachelor's degree. I also have a master's degree in public health. But bacteria like to thrive in porous surfaces, and I will do a review on my hip thrust pad, which is my favorite purchase. Like, I use my own money for that, from Peachbands, because it is so important, especially with the current situation going on, to minimize the amount of equipment that you are sharing with people. So anything that has a porous surface, like resistance bands at your gym, I highly recommend just getting your own. The fabric ones are okay because you can quickly spray them down and wipe them down and you're good. But bacteria, viruses, fungi do like to live in porous surfaces. So that's my little PSA, a little bit of education for you. It is a great investment for any level. And then of course the hip band, which I do recommend if you're more intermediate to advanced. If you're a beginner, I still recommend getting one of these because you eventually will get there if you are consistent in your workout routine. So if you're a beginner, get this to challenge yourself and that's your goal. But if you're an intermediate to advanced, I recommend getting the 15-inch, which is a 40-pound resistance if you are intermediate, and getting the 13-inch, which is the 50 pounds of resistance if you are more advanced, because that is your glute burner right there. Little side note, you can use these to glute activate and at the end of your workout to just give your butt a pump and just high rep it the fuck out so that your butt is nice and plump right at the end of your workout, which is what I do. If you see my Instagram post leg day videos and you see my butt is like literally like pumped, that's literally me just sitting there with one of my bands and just pumping my legs, or having a band around my knees at the end of my hip thrust set and literally just pumping it out until all of the blood just goes into that area and makes my butt look like a damn peach. Wow, that was a really random tangent, but that's the end of the video. That's the end of the review. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it informative. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, and do not forget to use my discount code when you go and buy any of these items. I will be reviewing, like I said, almost all of the Peachbands items. I've got the core sliders, I've got the speed rope, I've got the oh my goodness, what is it? The hip thrust pad. I can't believe I forgot that. That's the one thing I use the most, like 3 times a week. So all of those reviews will be coming up for you guys. And I also have the water bottle and any and their band tube set, the full, like the door anchor with the bands. That video is going to take a while to make, so please be patient with me. But I will eventually review all of the items for you. And if my review isn't out and you're really interested in an item, message me on Instagram and I will get back to you right away. Once again, my code is Elaine, and I hope you liked this review. If you have any critiques, because I'm always looking to improve, please let me know down below. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great day. Always remember that your mindset is everything. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Now I'll put a couple videos and a subscribe button at the end screen for you guys to go check out some of my other content, especially the follow along workout with the rubber resistance band. Once you buy the band set, go do my follow along workout. You will feel a burn. It is a muscle building workout. So if you're stuck at home still and you just need a little bit of a change up, I made that video just for you. Okay, have a good one. Bye.